Chosen one. You did not arrive here by accident. Heaven has aligned this exact moment with divine precision. Something in your spirit has been stirring a quiet signal that you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift. Anointed one. This is more than a message. This is a summons, a prophetic unveiling. You are approaching a divine wealth transfer, a financial breakthrough written over your life before you were born. The same God who declares in Isaiah 43 that He does a new thing is doing it in you now. Open your spirit. What you are about to hear will activate what has been waiting to awaken. Chosen one, listen closely. What you are experiencing is not confusion, not burnout, not drifting. It is the quiet cracking of an old identity under the weight of a new anointing. I know what it feels like because I've lived it, that strange season where nothing dramatic has changed on the outside, yet everything inside of you feels like it's shifting, stretching, awakening. It's the first rare spiritual symptom God gives to His strongest warriors. And if you're feeling it, heaven is pulling you into a higher dimension. It begins subtly. You wake up one morning and notice that your life feels too small for you. The routines that once felt comfortable now feel suffocating. Places that once grounded you suddenly feel foreign. Conversations that used to entertain you now drain you. You look around at a life you built and realize it no longer matches the person God is awakening within you. And you can't explain it, can you? Nothing bad happened. Nothing collapsed. But something holy is whispering inside you. You can't stay here. Not physically, not emotionally, not spiritually. I remember when this first happened to me. Everything seemed fine on the surface. Work was steady, relationships were predictable, routines were familiar. But inside, I felt like a stranger sitting in my own life. I'd smile on the outside while something deep in my spirit whispered, "This is not your final form." At the time, I didn't have the language for it. I thought I was restless. I thought something was wrong with me. But now I know the truth. I was being called, and so are you. This symptom, this inner disruption, is not discomfort. It's divine intervention. Heaven is loosening your attachments to what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. It's the first sign that your spirit has outgrown your old container. The shell is cracking not because you failed, but because you've grown. Chosen one. This is not nostalgia. This is not boredom. This is not dissatisfaction with life. This is the split, the separation between the self that merely survived and the self that is now awakening. When this happens, the soul begins rejecting anything that is too small, too old, too shallow. Anything that was built from fear. Anything that was built from wounds. Anything that was built from a version of you. Heaven is now unmaking. You try to go through the motions, work, talk, laugh, engage, but every movement feels like acting. You don't feel aligned with your own life anymore, and that misalignment becomes unbearable. The world still sees the same person, but inside, you're dissolving, reforming, preparing. This phase is holy and terrifying. You feel like dropping everything. You feel the urge to leave, to start over, to escape. But deep down, you know it's not escape. It's calling. God is gently but firmly removing your desire to settle. That's why the things that once made you feel safe now feel tight. That's why environments that once fit now feel wrong. It's not that the world changed, it's that your spirit expanded. And here is the painful beauty of this symptom. Even before you know where you're going, you know you can't stay where you are. Even before you have clarity, you have conviction. Even before heaven reveals the next step, your soul refuses to keep walking in the old direction. chosen one. This is the first rare spiritual symptom of the strongest among God's chosen, the silent ending of a version of you that can no longer carry the weight of your destiny. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. If you're feeling this, the restlessness, the inner stretching, the quiet discontent, then you're already being prepared for a supernatural promotion. Heaven is rearranging your identity before it rearranges your reality. Something divine is beginning, or chosen one. One of the rarest and most unmistakable signs that God is elevating you is the sacred separation that begins to unfold quietly in your life. It doesn't arrive with drama. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It begins softly, almost imperceptibly, like a subtle shift in the atmosphere, like a gentle pull on the edges of your soul. And suddenly, the people who once felt familiar start to feel distant. The conversations that once energized you now leave you strangely empty. The spaces you once blended into now feel too small for the magnitude of who you are becoming. This isn't arrogance. This isn't moodiness. This is awakening. When God begins to expand your spirit, He simultaneously begins to reorganize your relationships. You don't decide this. Heaven does. You don't wake up thinking, I want distance. Instead, you wake up feeling the weight of a calling that no longer fits inside your old social patterns. Relationships built on the foundation of a previous version of you cannot support the destiny of the version emerging now. And without warning, the same places, people and dynamics that once felt like home begin to feel like foreign territory. I know this feeling deeply. I once went through a season where everyone seemed to drift away. No arguments, no explosions, no betrayal, just a quiet dissolving. Messages slowed, invitations faded, conversations lacked substance. Every social interaction felt like wearing clothes that no longer fit. I thought something was wrong with me. I wondered why everything felt misaligned. Only later did I understand it wasn't loss, it was elevation. God wasn't subtracting from me. He was clearing space for what was coming. Chosen one. This is what happens when your frequency rises. Your discernment sharpens, your sensitivity deepens. You begin to notice the energy behind words, not just the words themselves. You feel the heaviness of disconnection, even in a crowded room. You see through masks that used to fool you. You sense intentions before people speak them. It's not that you've become judgmental. It's that your spirit refuses to tolerate what your soul no longer recognizes as truth. This phase hurts not because something is wrong, but because something is shifting. You start to feel like you're outgrowing everyone and everything. You question yourself. You wonder if you've become distant or cold. But the truth is far more sacred. You're no longer able to betray yourself just to belong. Your soul is reclaiming its authenticity, and anything that requires you to shrink becomes unbearable. And yes, it gets lonely for a while. Loneliness is the soil of transformation. God often removes the noise before He releases the new. In this silence, you begin to hear Him more clearly. You begin to understand what your spirit needs. You begin to rediscover parts of yourself you hid to make others comfortable. This emptiness is not abandonment, it's clearing. God is clearing your atmosphere the way a gardener clears weeds before planting new seeds. Some people cannot walk with you because they cannot breathe at the altitude God is bringing you to. Their connection to you was dependent on your old identity, your old wounds, your old fears, your old patterns. When those dissolve, the bond dissolves with them. And that is not failure. That is alignment. Chosen one. Hear this, you are not losing people. You are losing limitations. You are not being isolated. You are being refined. Every soul that drifts away makes room for a divine connection that matches your growth, your calling, and your new anointing. This is the spiritual sift, the holy sorting, where heaven separates the seasonal from the eternal. So if people are fading, don't chase. If conversations feel empty, don't force. If connections no longer resonate, don't cling. Your destiny requires space, your spirit requires truth, and your future requires companions who can walk beside the version of you God is unveiling now. This separation is your sign, and it means heaven is preparing to send new alignment, new purpose, and new relationships that reflect the magnitude of who you are becoming. Chosen one. There comes a point in every deep spiritual awakening where heaven no longer allows you to hide from who you truly are. And, whether you realized it or not, you have reached that point. This is the stage where the separation becomes undeniable. Not just separation from people or places, but the separation between who you used to be and who heaven is requiring you to become. It is here in this sacred threshold that the rare symptom begins to intensify, the one only the strongest chosen ones carry. It is the inability to stay small even when you try. The inability to silence your spirit even when you want peace. The inability to return to who you once were even when the old life felt easier. Nothing fits anymore because heaven is remaking you from the inside out. For most people, life changes from the outside first. Circumstances shift. Opportunities appear. Doors open or close. But for the chosen one, transformation begins in the unseen, in the quiet chambers of the soul. You start to feel a pressure you can't explain, a stretching you didn't ask, for a divine restlessness that interrupts your routines. This isn't instability, it's initiation. Heaven is widening your capacity because what is coming requires a bigger interior world than what you've had before. I've walked through this myself, the strange sensation of growing in places no one can see while everything on the outside looked unchanged. It felt like living in a room that suddenly became too small, too loud, too constricting, and I didn't understand why until later. Heaven was expanding me before it elevated me, and now it's your turn. This rare spiritual symptom is not pain, it's preparation. It is the unmistakable signal that your spirit is outgrowing the container that once held you. You may find yourself uninterested in what used to excite you. You may sense a thinning tolerance for shallow conversations, superficial environments, old patterns, or people who only knew you in your past form. You may even notice your intuition sharpening, your discernment heightening, and your boundaries becoming clearer. These shifts are not random. They are divine indicators that your assignment is changing. You are being pulled away from imitation environments so that heaven can place you exactly where you belong. The world will call this restlessness, burnout, confusion, or emotional exhaustion. But you and I know better. This is the ancient symptom of the called the moment, where heaven recalibrates your life by first recalibrating your spirit. What you're feeling is not lack of direction, it is divine redirection. You have been vibrating at a higher frequency than your environment for months, maybe years, and now heaven is refusing to let you dim anymore. This is why certain relationships have grown distant. This is why familiar places feel foreign. This is why your spirit reacts to certain atmospheres that once felt normal. It is not hypersensitivity, it is spiritual elevation. And here is the deeper truth, chosen one. When God is preparing you for supernatural promotion, financial, spiritual, relational, or territorial, He first separates you internally before He moves you externally. Before He increases your influence, He increases your capacity. Before he entrusts you with abundance, he refines your discernment. Before he gives you new territory, he removes old weight. This internal dissonance you feel is the signal that a divine transfer is already underway. Your spirit is being tuned to a higher assignment, and everything misaligned is breaking off. Do not fight the unraveling. It is the evidence that heaven is rewriting your story. I know from my own journey that this stage feels both holy and disorienting. You wake up knowing you cannot go back yet. You have no map for what comes next. But hear this clearly: when the old self dissolves, destiny draws near. You are not losing yourself. You are returning to the version heaven always intended. And soon, what feels like internal chaos will become external clarity. The rare symptom you carry is the mark of those chosen for extraordinary elevation. Pause. Breathe. Something in you knows this is true. Chosen one, as you continue awakening, something even more profound begins stirring within you, something that cannot be explained through logic, psychology, or personality. It is the activation of a spiritual sensitivity, so heightened, so precise, so deeply attuned to the invisible realm that it separates you permanently from the ordinary world. This is the third rare symptom, one that only the strongest chosen ones are entrusted with. It is the ability to feel what others ignore, to sense what others deny, and to perceive what others are blind to. At first, this sensitivity feels inconvenient, even overwhelming. Lights feel brighter. Noises feel louder. Crowded environments drain you instantly. Superficial conversations irritate your spirit. You walk into a room and instantly know the atmosphere, whether it is heavy, clean, deceptive, or divine. You sense emotional undercurrents without anyone speaking. You detect dishonesty by instinct. And the most surprising part is that you can't turn it off. You used to move through life half asleep because your spirit was dormant. But the moment God activated this gift, your inner world opened wide. Chosen. 1. This is not weakness. This is not fragility. This is spiritual intelligence. I remember when this sensitivity awakened in me. I couldn't explain why certain places that used to feel normal suddenly felt suffocating. Restaurants, malls, workplaces, conversations, things I tolerated for years became energetically unbearable. People said, "You're being dramatic," or "You're overreacting." But I wasn't. My spirit was warning me. My body was speaking for my soul. My discernment was turning into a sword. And the moment I stopped fighting it, my life shifted. That experience taught me a truth you now need to understand. The more spiritually awake you become, the less spiritually compatible you are with environments built on noise, chaos, emptiness, or deception. This sensitivity is not meant to isolate you. It is designed to guide you, to protect you, to move you, to direct your steps toward the life heaven has scripted for you. You may not realize it, but your intuition has saved you from betrayals, disasters, wrong partnerships, and spiritual traps countless times. Even when you didn't understand the why, your spirit always knew. This is why certain people no longer feel right around you. Their energy once matched your wounds, but it no longer matches your healing. This is why their words feel heavy or hollow. This is why your body reacts before your mind processes anything. This is why you feel drained after certain conversations. This is why you leave some environments feeling spiritually contaminated. You're not imagining it. Your anointing is detecting misalignment, and the more God prepares you for elevation, the louder your spirit becomes. You begin filtering everything: what you consume, who you speak to, what you tolerate, where you place your presence. Shows you once enjoyed now feel dark. Music that once entertained you now feels heavy. News and social media feel like poison. Negative conversations feel like toxins. Even food affects you differently. Your body rejects what your spirit can no longer digest. You are not falling apart. You are being purified. The truth is, your old life required numbness. Your destiny requires sensitivity. Heaven is sharpening your inner senses because the path ahead will require spiritual accuracy. You are no longer allowed to ignore what drains you, depletes you, or dims you. Your sensitivity is your compass. And chosen one here is the part most people never understand. This rare symptom is the evidence that your spiritual frequency is rising. When your spirit elevates, everything misaligned vibrates against you. Darkness becomes repulsive. Dishonesty becomes obvious. Spiritual noise becomes unbearable. You can no longer stay where your spirit suffocates. This is why God is calling you out of certain environments. This is why you feel the urge to spend time alone. This is why silence feels like medicine, not loneliness. This is why nature feels like home. This is why you crave peace above everything else. Your spirit is detoxing from the world's noise so it can hear heaven's whispers. Chosen one, this spiritual sensitivity is a rare mantle, and heaven trusted you with it because you have the capacity to carry it without breaking. Many people would collapse under the weight of feeling what you feel, but your spirit is built for this depth. You don't just observe life anymore, you perceive it. You don't just hear words, you discern intentions. You don't just see people, you read atmospheres. This is why your next chapter will be supernatural. Your sensitivity is not the symptom of weakness, it is the proof of calling. Chosen one. As your awakening deepens, something extraordinary begins to happen inside you, something few people on this earth ever experience. It is subtle at first, but once it takes root, it changes everything. It is the moment when you lose the desire to compete, not because you've lost ambition, not because you've grown tired, but because your spirit finally recognizes who you are, where you come from, and what you carry. The world teaches people to fight for attention, to chase approval, to accumulate achievements to prove they're worthy. But when heaven begins elevating you, that mindset dissolves. Suddenly, external victory no longer impresses you. Validation no longer moves you. The applause of others no longer defines you. You begin to feel a peace that whispers, "I don't need to win by the world's rules. I was chosen long before the game even began." This is the fourth rare symptom, the liberation from competition. I remember this shift clearly in my own life. There was a time when I pushed myself endlessly, trying to achieve, to outperform, to be seen, to be recognized. I measured myself through comparison, through expectations, through the standards of others. But when my spirit awakened, something unusual happened. I stopped caring whether I looked like I was ahead, behind, or on track. It wasn't apathy, it was clarity. I realized that what was mine could never belong to anyone else, and what belonged to them could never be stolen from me. Chosen one, that same revelation is touching your spirit now. You are beginning to feel a divine disinterest in competition because your calling is not crowded. Your lane is not shared. Your purpose is not duplicated. You are not here to outrun anyone. You are here to align with what heaven wrote about you before time began. This shift may confuse people around you. They may think you've lost motivation, lost drive, or lost focus. But the truth is that you've simply lost the need to prove yourself. The old hunger for earthly recognition has been replaced with a deeper hunger for spiritual fulfillment. And once your spirit tastes authenticity, it refuses to return to performance. Competition feels empty now because it is empty. Your soul is no longer satisfied by trophies made of ego. You crave something holier, impact, purpose, alignment. You want your life to mean something eternal, not just visible. You want to contribute, not compete. You want to serve, not strive. You want to live from truth, not pressure. This is why your priorities are changing. The goals that once mattered feel small. The accomplishments that once excited you feel irrelevant. You are no longer chasing success, you are becoming it. And that alone separates you from the masses. But here is the deeper spiritual truth. The end of competition is the beginning of mastery. Once you stop looking sideways, you can finally look upward. Once you stop comparing, you can finally create. Once you stop chasing, you can finally attract. Heaven does its greatest work in a heart that is no longer distracted by the pace of others. And as this rare symptom grows stronger, something even more powerful happens. Your presence begins to quiet the room, because when a person stops competing, they start carrying authority. Your stillness commands attention. Your authenticity disarms pretenders. Your peace exposes chaos. Your purpose disrupts performance. This shift is not visible through words, it's visible through energy. People around you feel it before they understand it. Some will admire you for it, others will envy it, but none will be able to ignore it. Chosen one. The reason competition is dying inside you is because elevation is being born. God is weaning you from the world's way of rising so he can introduce you to heaven's way. For the chosen elevation has nothing to do with outperforming others. It comes from becoming more aligned with the version of you heaven has been preparing all along. This is why you no longer feel drawn to crowded paths. This is why your pace feels different. This is why your journey feels slower than others or faster than others, because it's neither. It's divine timing. When you lose the need to compete, you finally begin to walk in your assignment rather than someone else's expectation. And here is the prophetic truth. This rare symptom is a sign that you are entering a season of true power. Not loud power, not aggressive power, not performative power, but spiritual authority, the kind that does not chase but attracts, does not fight but flows, does not prove but simply is. Chosen one. You're stepping out of performance and into purpose, and the moment competition dies, destiny is born. Chosen one. When your awakening reaches a deeper spiritual layer, one of the most mysterious and unmistakable symptoms begins to unfold within you. It is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't shake the room, but it quietly begins to reshape your entire perception of life. It's the moment when time stops behaving like time. Minutes stretch, hours collapse, days feel strangely heavy or strangely empty. And you begin to realize that you're no longer living inside the same dimension you once knew. This phenomenon is the fifth rare symptom that only the strongest chosen ones experience. It is the collapse of linear time and the emergence of divine timing. The world lives chained to the clock. People rush, chase, hustle, and panic over minutes and deadlines. They measure life by schedules and calendars, believing that time moves in a straight line. But when heaven begins reordering your destiny, you're pulled out of that system entirely. Suddenly, earthly time no longer instructs you. Instead, you begin to move to a higher rhythm, one not measured by seconds, but by spiritual alignment. At first, this shift feels disorienting. You may notice that tasks which used to consume hours now end in minutes. Conversations feel timeless. Days pass in a blur. Other moments feel suspended, as if heaven is holding them open for you to pay attention. You wonder if you're distracted or overwhelmed, but the truth is far holier. You've entered a new frequency where time serves purpose, not pressure. When I first experienced this collapse, I didn't understand what was happening. I felt out of sync, as though the world was moving on one channel and I was moving on another. But slowly, clarity replaced confusion. Heaven wasn't removing structure, it was removing limitation. My spirit was being trained to follow intuition instead of clocks, signs instead of schedules, alignment instead of urgency. Chosen one, that same training is happening within you now. What appears to be disorder is actually divine reordering. You are being pulled out of the rhythm of the world and placed into the rhythm of your calling. This is why lately you may feel tired at odd times, awake at unusual hours, uninterested in strict routines, or strangely detached from the flow of the day. What once felt urgent now feels irrelevant. What once consumed you now feels small. This isn't laziness, it's liberation. Your spirit is rejecting anything that forces you into a rhythm that heaven is dismantling. As linear time collapses, your spirit becomes sensitive to moments rather than minutes. You start to recognize divine timing, the subtle but powerful sense that something is meant to happen now or not yet. You begin to feel when to wait, when to move, when to stay silent, and when to act. You're no longer following a clock, you're following a signal. And once this shift begins, synchronicities increase dramatically. You meet the right people at the exact moment you need them. Messages arrive seconds after you ask a question in your mind. Answers appear before you even voice the prayer. Doors open without knocking. Opportunities come without effort. What used to take years now takes weeks. What used to require struggle now requires surrender. This is the evidence that you are no longer living by human timing. You are living by heaven's timing. But here is the deeper truth. Chosen one, the collapse of time is not just a symptom of awakening, it is a sign of acceleration. Heaven collapses your old sense of time because God is compressing your destiny. He is accelerating what should have taken a lifetime into a single season. He is preparing you for moments that will change everything, and He's clearing your internal space so you can recognize them when they arrive. This is why your days feel different. Heaven is editing your timeline. You may feel behind, but you're not. You may feel late, but you're not. You may feel unprepared, but you're being prepared. The shift you feel is supernatural. Your spirit is being pulled toward a divinely appointed moment that does not exist inside ordinary time. When heaven accelerates you, you stop aging in the spirit. You stop comparing your pace to the world's pace. You stop panicking over delays because your spirit begins to understand something your mind could never grasp. Your time is not running out. Your time is being rewritten. And this rewriting marks the beginning of an extraordinary season, a season where divine timing overrides human delays, where alignment overrides effort, where destiny overrides doubt. You are entering a realm where breakthroughs appear suddenly, where blessings arrive unexpectedly, where transformation happens rapidly, and where your entire life begins to move at the speed of purpose. Chosen one. The collapse of time is your confirmation. Heaven is aligning you with something monumental. And the fact that time no longer feels the same is the clearest sign that your destiny is approaching faster than you think. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every deep awakening when something irreversible happens within you. Not a moment of emotion, not a passing inspiration, but a seismic shift in your inner world. It begins quietly, like a whisper you almost ignore, but then it grows. And suddenly, without warning, you can no longer pretend to be someone you're not. You can no longer hide behind masks. You can no longer shrink to fit roles that were never meant for you. You have reached the moment when the soul refuses to compromise. This is the sixth rare symptom of the strongest chosen ones, the emergence of your true mission. This awakening is not dramatic. It does not explode. It reveals, slowly, deeply, fully. It begins when you start to lose tolerance for anything that contradicts the truth of your spirit. You may find yourself unable to stay silent in places where your soul wants to speak. You may struggle to continue jobs that drain you spiritually. You may feel physically uncomfortable when you act out of alignment, even if no one else notices. The body tightens, the spirit resists, the soul shuts down. Something inside you says, "This is over," even if you don't know what comes next. Chosen one. This inner resistance is not rebellion, it is calling. Every chosen one reaches a point where the soul refuses to betray itself one moment longer. You may not know your next assignment, but you know without doubt what you can no longer do. You may not see the full path, but you know this chapter cannot continue. You may not fully understand the mission, but you feel its pulse beating beneath your ribs. This is the beginning of spiritual emergence, the recognition that you were placed on earth for something specific, something holy, something unmistakably yours. At first, this realization feels frightening. How do you walk away from what's familiar? How do you move into a future you can't see? How do you explain to others a calling you barely understand yourself? But the truth is, you're not meant to explain it. You're meant to follow it. I remember my own moment of emergence. There was no clear voice, no map, no prophet pointing me forward, only a deep, unshakable knowing that the identity I had built was too small for the spirit inside me. My routines became unbearable. My old ambitions felt foreign. Everything stable felt temporary. Everything predictable felt wrong. And for the first time I understood that purpose is not discovered through thinking, it is revealed through surrender. Chosen one. Your spirit is reaching that same threshold now. This rare symptom intensifies in three ways. First, you feel a deep dissatisfaction with what once satisfied you. Not because you've become ungrateful, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that once needed it. Purpose is stretching you beyond comfort. You feel it in your bones. Second, you feel a growing urgency you can't explain. You wake up sensing that something is approaching. Not anxiety, anticipation. A divine pressure building inside you, pushing you towards something larger than your current life can hold. Third, you feel spiritually watched. Not in a fearful way, but as if heaven is monitoring your readiness. You feel guided, observed, prepared, shaped. Every thought feels significant. Every decision feels weighted. Every moment feels purposeful. This urgency is heaven's confirmation you are nearing activation. And yet this phase is also full of mystery. Your mission rarely reveals itself fully at once. Instead, it appears in fragments, moments of clarity, sudden ideas, dreams that feel like instructions, conversations that ignite your spirit, random thoughts that feel like divine whispers. You may dismiss them at first, but they return. They follow you. They echo in your mind until ignoring them becomes impossible. Chosen one. This is how God communicates when He is preparing you for destiny, not through lightning, not through thunder, but through consistent holy pressure. And here is the truth most people never learn. Your mission shows up long before your mind is ready for it. Your spirit always knows before your intellect understands. That's why you feel pulled. That's why you feel restless. That's why you feel done with the old, even if life still looks the same. Your spirit knows something your reality has not revealed yet. And as the mission emerges, your identity shifts. The old labels fall away. You no longer see yourself as broken, behind, or ordinary. You begin to sense the weight of what you carry. You begin to understand why you survived what others didn't. You begin to see why your path was so difficult. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every wound taught you compassion. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every setback built your resilience. Every delay purified your motives. Your mission requires a version of you forged through fire, and heaven has spent years shaping that version in silence. This is why you feel the intensity now. You are stepping into the era of purpose. You are entering the realm where your life is no longer random but orchestrated. You are being aligned with people, places, assignments, and opportunities that match the frequency of your calling. Chosen one, the mission is rising, and you are closer to your divine activation than you have ever been. Chosen one, the final rare symptom of the strongest among God's anointed, is also the most undeniable. It is the moment when you realize you can no longer return to who you were, no matter how hard you try. A quiet but permanent shift occurs, and suddenly pretending becomes impossible. You feel it in your chest, in your breath, in your bones. The mask no longer fits. The old identity no longer holds. The old life no longer calls you the way it once did. This is the point of no return, the moment your spirit refuses to shrink back into the version of you that existed before the awakening. It often begins subtly. You find yourself unable to tolerate conversations that once entertained you. You struggle to perform tasks that once came naturally. Your body tightens when you speak words you don't mean. Your soul aches when you stay in environments that drain your light. You try to force yourself into old patterns, but something inside pushes back. That something is your true self demanding to be lived. From this point forward, your spirit will not allow you to betray your purpose. Chosen one. This symptom is sacred. It's the evidence that the transformation is complete. You no longer crave approval. You no longer chase acceptance. You no longer fight to fit in. You've crossed into the territory where authenticity is your only language, and truth is your only home. And yes, this shift can feel frightening. You may feel suspended between identities, the person you used to be and the person you're becoming. You may fear disappointing others. You may fear the unknown. But deeper than all those fears is an unshakable knowing you were made for more, and you cannot shrink anymore. This symptom also comes with a subtle but powerful inner force. You feel pulled toward purpose with a strength you can't rationalize. You feel summoned, guided, prepared. Even when you don't know the details, you know something is coming, something bigger than routine, bigger than fear, bigger than the life you're leaving behind. This is the activation point. This is where destiny begins. This is where purpose takes over. Your old life was survival. Your new life is assignment. Chosen one, you have reached the moment heaven has been preparing you for. The point of no return is not a loss, it is liberation. And what's coming next will reveal why you could never go back. Chosen one, as this message comes to its gentle end, allow your spirit to settle into the truth that has been reaching for you. What you felt today was not coincidence, it was confirmation. The rare spiritual symptom you carry is not something you imagined, it is the mark of your calling, the evidence that heaven has placed a stronger mantle upon you than most could ever bear. You were guided here because your soul is ready for its next ascension. There is a divine shift unfolding around you even now. You may not see it clearly, but your spirit has already sensed it. The atmosphere around your life is changing. Doors are aligning. Paths are clearing. Delays are dissolving. You are standing in the center of your Kairos moment, the exact intersection where divine timing meets divine purpose. What is meant for you is not coming, it is arriving. Chosen one, walk with reverence. You are stepping into a season written specifically for your spirit. You don't need to understand every detail. You don't need to have every answer. You only need to remain willing, awake, and aligned. Heaven does not require your perfection, only your yes. As you rise from this moment, may peace wrap itself around your mind. May clarity enter your heart. May courage strengthen your hands. You are protected. You are guided. You are being positioned for a supernatural transfer prepared long before this moment ever reached you. If this message touched something deep within you, you may choose to write, "I am returning to who I truly am." Let it be both a declaration and an invitation to heaven, to destiny, and to the next version of your life unfolding now. Your new chapter has already begun.